is Yvonne and I'm proud to be one of the yoga teachers with MoreYoga, teaching restorative obviously, and Hatha yoga. So for the next hour you will be relaxing, because that is the beauty of restorative yoga. Restore to health. So happy International Yoga Day to you, and happy Father's Day to the fathers that are amongst us, and welcome everybody and well done for making time for your yoga practice. And thanks also to you for joining this class, because this weekend you'll know that MoreYoga is supporting the Black curriculum to ensure that we can start teaching Black history in schools. So bravo to all of you and MoreYoga for making that happen. So for the restorative to work, we need to have props and we need to have certain conditions to make things work. So just a reminder, your nervous system responds to bright lights, so I would recommend you drop your blinds, draw your curtains so it's not as bright. Close the window if you've got it open, because we stay in postures for a good 5 or 7 minutes and your body temperature drops during that time. So it's best that you turn the shut the window for any drafts. And noise affects the nervous system as well. So ideally you won't be disturbed. If you live with anybody, they know you're doing this class, or hopefully they're with you as well. But more importantly, I've put a recommended track in the chat box, or my colleague has, thank you Alex. In the live chat on the screen, you'll see there's a Spotify track. It plays for an hour and 10 minutes, uninterrupted, and it's a tambura. It's an Indian root instrument, and it was designed for meditation, but it's also very good for relaxation, because the note it plays in is a root grounding sound, and it just allows you to really drop into your practice. So I would recommend you have that at a lowish volume so you can still hear me when I get you in and out of poses. You don't hear a lot from me, because as you go through and you start to move from what's called fight or flight, how we walk around and protect ourselves, that's the sympathetic nervous system, and then you move further and further into relaxation mode, which is the parasympathetic nervous system. Me talking will interrupt that relaxation, so you'll only hear the odd breath cue so you know I'm still here, but otherwise my chatter will become less and less as we go through. So that's the housekeeping done. Props today, hope you noticed in the description, you'll need an open back chair, so a folding chair or a chair that has no back, because we will need that later on. Don't worry if you haven't got the chair, because if you're able to, you can use your sofa, but if you don't have it, please don't worry, we can improvise. But ideally, please get a chair where your legs can go through, a chair with no back. So apart from the chair, which is the extra for today, these are the kind of regular props we need for restorative. So one belt, or you can use a bathrobe belt, 2 blankets or 2 towels, 2 bricks or 2 hardback books, ideally the same, so you're even, because everything in yoga is about that evenness and that balance as we yoke together, which is yoga means to yoke, to come together. We like to do things the same, so when we do one pose, if it's a twist, we turn left, we turn right, so we're balanced. We should have the props that are the same, so we are equally balanced in the same way. And then the last prop we need is a bolster. So something like this, as near as you can get to it. It needs to be fairly sturdy to support you, so nothing too soft. A pillow on its own is not going to be enough. You need to wrap a towel around it and put it inside of a pillowcase. Or if I'm honest with you, if you've got a birthday or something coming up, any kind of celebration, I would recommend you ask for a bolster as your gift, because they're wonderful. It's great to relax each day. So, it's recommended that if you go into a yoga pose 10 minutes each day, it really does help the nervous system to ground and relax, because sometimes we don't have time to do a full hour's practice. So first pose, you will need both blankets, your bolster and the 2 bricks. So the bolster, we'll start in a gentle back bend. So bolster is vertical, and with the blankets in restorative work, those of you that are coming regularly, probably tired of hearing me say it, but you get it now, it's always important to make sure the blankets are smooth, there's no lumps and bumps inside them, and always fold short edge to short edge to arrive at the size we want. So this blanket, you want this sort of shape, so you keep folding short edge to short edge till you get to this shape, smooth edge towards your neck, and place that at the top of the bolster. And then the second one, you're going to open the blanket, fold so you get to about this shape, going short edge to short edge to short edge. When you get to here, you fold long sheath like this, and then you roll it, again making sure it's smooth, and place it on the rolled side, the roll side towards the bolster, in front of the blanket, so you've got smooth edge to you. You place the blanket in front of the bolster. You then come to sitting on your mat in front of the blanket. So you're on your mat, your bottom is on your mat, but your back is right up against the bolster. It's just going to soften the bend in the back. So it's a very gentle back bend to start off with, just to start moving us into the relaxation. Grab your 2 bricks, and the pose we're starting is called Supta Sukhasana, which translates to reclined easy pose. So easy pose is this traditional seated meditation pose, cross-legged pose. And ideally when we cross our legs, it's our shins that should cross, not just the ankles. So ideally, if it's available to you, walk your ankles under the knees, so you're resting on the sides of your feet, and have your feet pointing out towards the sides, so you're like extending through the heel. And obviously if that's uncomfortable, yes, you can, you know, widen the feet so it's more the ankles that are crossed, but where possible, do try to walk the feet under the ankles. And you should, as you look down, you should see a nice triangle between your inner thighs and your shins. And if you walk your shins forward slightly, you should then see a proper looking triangle. So unless your thighs are on the ground, you will need to rest your 2 bricks under your thighs, and that's to support them, because we'll be laying here for a few minutes, because each pose we hold it for 5 minutes plus, so you can really start to relax. If there's nothing there to support the thigh, it grips, interferes with your relaxation. So tuck the bricks, lowest side or whatever height you need, and then from here you roll your shoulders down your back, inhaling, and on the exhale you're laying back onto the bolster, and then you're going to reach for the blanket and pull the blanket in under your neck, so your whole head and neck is supported. And as you lay back, lengthen your tailbone down towards the ground to create space in your lower back, and readjust the bricks so they really are supporting your thighs. Roll the shoulders down the back again, lengthen your chin towards your chest. If you're wearing glasses, please remove them. I need to keep mine on because obviously I'm seeing and doing things, but once as you're practicing, please do take your glasses off once you're in the pose, and ensure that you're feeling comfortable. Lengthen the chin to the chest. The chin should not be sticking up like this, because that's crunching too much into your neck spine. Lengthen the chin towards the chest if you're a little stretch at the back of the neck. and just surrender. Start to connect to the breath. Start to arrive in the practice. Inhaling towards the heart and exhaling towards the crown. Settling into the practice. Keeping that connection to the breath. Trying to close off whatever you were doing before the practice and sealing it by being here, present in your practice with the time that you have made for yourself. So International Yoga Day, Summer Solstice, Father's Day, lots of things all coming together. And coming together on your mat is yoga. Making time for yourself is yoga. Now I'm sharing with you something that's very dear to me with my yoga practice. Is this book. I've mentioned it to you before, if you've come to the class before, Light on Yoga by Mr. Iyengar. Probably one of the most famous yogis of the 20th century, who kind of made yoga quite popular in the West. And if you don't have this book, I would really recommend purchasing it. So this was given to me by my first yoga teacher, Vicky Scala. She passed away in 2012. So may she rest in peace. But long before I was ever thinking about being a yoga teacher, she gave me this book. Of which I admittedly didn't pay much attention to until I started becoming more and more interested in practice, but still not thinking about being a teacher. So I'm just going to share with you Mr. Iyengar's definition of yoga. Now, when you hear God, that can be whatever your God is, and it's just one of the many definitions of yoga, but what everybody's clear is, it's about union, it's about coming together, that connection of self. So I'm just going to share with you from Light on Yoga, Mr. Iyengar's definition of yoga. Union, communion. The word yoga is derived from the root yuj, meaning to join, to yoke, to concentrate one's attention on. It is the union of our will to the will of God. A poise of soul which enables one to look evenly at life in all its aspects. The chief aim of yoga is to reach the means by which the human soul may be completely united with the Supreme Spirit pervading the universe and thus secure absolution. So one of many, many, many descriptions, but the key thing, as you'll hear, is that union, that coming together of self, to know yourself more, to connect to self more, and having a restorative practice where you're slowing down, where you're allowing the body to rest. That allows you to have a deeper connection to self. And personally, I've gained an awful lot from the restorative practice over the years. And especially now, as so much is going on in the world, as we make lots of transitions and changes, it's nice to have something to come to. And the yoga practice is that, and the stilling within this restorative practice. Connecting to your breath. If ever your thoughts take you outside of the practice, which is natural, always return to the breath. And if you're listening to the tambura, I hope that as the class goes on, you will draw further and further into the practice through listening to the root sound of the tambura. A few more breaths and you will change the cross of your shin, where I will invite you to put the shin that feels probably more uncomfortable in front. And that is again so we're balanced, so we always try and change or offer the pose to both sides of the body. So very gently, deepening your breathing, change the cross of your shins. So you've now got the shin that you don't like, or your non-dominant shin, in front of you. Just settle the bricks back under your thighs, connect back to the breath as if you hadn't moved, as if you were connecting back into the pose. Inhaling towards the heart and exhaling towards the crown. That's allowing for a nice full breath pattern. And check in with your breath now. Notice the texture of it, the pace of it. And as we go through the practice, I invite you to notice the change in the breath, where you'll hopefully notice is starting to slow down. And you start to hopefully feel much calmer than you do now, and definitely hopefully more relaxed. Inhaling towards the heart and exhaling towards the crown. A few more breaths in your first pose. Inhaling to the heart and exhaling to the crown. Slowly start to deepen your breathing. That's the cue you'll hear when it's time to change sides in a posture or come out. So from here, inhaling, reach your arms overhead and hold on to opposite elbows, and reach your arms back overhead, trying to reach down towards the bolster. Don't worry if your arms don't touch, it's just to get that stretch into the side of the body. Try and soften the ribs, and if holding on to opposite elbows too much, because it feels tight on my shoulders, you release the grip of the elbows and just hold on to opposite forearms so you get more space in the shoulder. Couple breaths here, and then we'll change forearms. Very gently change the cross of your forearms. So you've probably got the non-dominant forearm in front now. Just keep breathing into the side body and notice how the breath is moving up to the side with your arms overhead. 2 more breaths here. And And gently release the arms. Inhale the arms straight overhead and uncross your legs. Extend the heel away from you. So you're opening the back of the leg and you're getting a full body stretch. And you can circle the ankles and circle the wrists and then change direction. Don't worry, this is as energetic as we get. It's just a nice few stretches to help us arrive and be still in the poses. Bring the palms to the front ribs, bring the knees up, feet down, and very gently, watching out for your props, just roll over to whichever side is easiest for you, looking at the ground as you come up, head coming up last. So we always roll to the side to come up. It protects your spine. So from here, moving into our second pose where you will need your chair. So grab your chair and have your bolster horizontal towards the top of your mat, and I'll show you what we're doing with the chair. So have the chair on your mat like so. The chair, the bolster is just in front. Then you're going to open up one of your blankets quite wide, and here's enough, so like quarter of your blanket, and have that spread just behind the bolster, and your second blanket is going onto your chair, seat of your chair, and you're folding it in roughly this shape. Have the smooth edge towards the edge of the chair seat, and then what I recommend is to the hem edge of the blanket, roll it in. Roll it in. In fact, you probably need to open that out a bit more. So open it out slightly wider and roll the hem edge of the blanket in. So you've created a roll at the back of the chair, and line up the folded edge with the folded edge of the blanket, edge of your chair. And the reason why I've rolled it is to stop your foot hanging off the end. If you're very tall, you're going to need two chairs, but this roll is to hold the heel in place. We don't need our bricks, but we do need our belt. So if you're using a yoga belt, you'll know how to thread it, and you're making a big loop. If you're using your bathrobe belt, you're just going to tie it around your thighs, firm, not tight, and have the knot in the gap of your thighs. Yoga belt people, step your feet through the loop and pull the belt so it's mid-thigh, halfway between knee and hip, and have the buckle also in between the gap of the thighs. Now we're going to swing our legs up onto the chair, and the back of your knee should be in line with the back edge of the chair at all times, okay? And our pelvis is going to stay on the blanket, so not the blanket, on the bolster. So we're moving into a supported bridge pose using the chair. So sit on one edge of your bolster, palm onto the mat, both palms down onto the mat so you're supporting yourself, and then swing your legs up onto the chair. Make sure you come to the middle of your bolster, and make sure you're on the front edge of the bolster so it's just the pelvis that's supported, not up into your lower back. And you'll need to maneuver to make sure your chair is at the right height for you, or the right distance. So that feels about right. And then coming down on your elbows, laying back onto the chair. So the backs of my knees are on the chair. Bolster feels a little high, so just moving that. The belt is holding my thighs in position, so I'm just going to make sure my thighs are turned inwards, and to do that, lift the foot up, turn the toes to the left foot, so it's turning the thigh in, then turn the toes back to neutral, ground the foot, same on the left foot up, turn the toes to the right, it allows the thigh to turn, so we're releasing the back spine, toes back to neutral, and release the heel into that roll of the blanket. Your upper body should now be firmly into the blanket behind the bolster. The legs are not parallel, which is fine, as long as you're fully supported on the bolster. Roll the shoulders down the back so you're really feeling connected into the mat, and then you turn your palms. You have your arms cactus, so the palms are facing your ears and your thumbs are resting into the mat, and then you lengthen that chin to the chest once again and just release the body into the mat. Inhaling and exhaling. This is a lovely opening for the front of the body, as well as lifting and opening the chest. And with your legs elevated, it allows you to have drainage, it's like a draining function for the legs. It's very calming and kind of energizing, resets the fluid. And the front hips are getting opened, and the chest is really nice and open, being connected to the floor, and a lovely lift to the pelvis. So connect back to that breath pattern, inhaling to the heart and exhaling to the crown. And settling into the pose. Surrendering the body over to the earth. Connecting to your breath, connecting to the tambura. If you prefer, you can rest your hands on the front of the body. It's whatever works for you. So either cactus arms or front of the body, whatever works for you. Trying to stay in your practice, being connected, thinking of that connection, that union, which is yoga. Recalling what brought you back, what brought you to the mat first. What was your connection to yoga as we recall this International Yoga Day? Inhaling and exhaling. Checking in with your breath, starting to observe if it's slowing down. Is the breath pattern fuller? Just notice what you notice as you move further into your restorative practice. more breaths here, and we'll move to the next stage of this pose. Very gently start to deepen your breathing, and you're going to remove your pelvis from the bolster. So very gently just bring your heels in a little so you can root your feet into the mat, and lift your hips and push the bolster out to the side, and then place your legs back against the edge of the bolster, back onto the roll at the back of the chair, and just feel your back body settle into the ground. Feel that nice contrast from the lift and now grounded to the earth. Couple of breaths here, inhaling, exhaling, lengthen that chin back to the chest. And then inhaling, reach for the bolster and bring it up onto your belly. And just lay it horizontal across the belly. And you can rest your palms on top of the bolster and have your elbows out to the side. And this weight of the bolster is really very, very grounding and calming. So we've now transitioned from our supported bridge pose, which was Setu Bandha Sarvagasana, to we're now in a supported type shavasana pose because our legs are elevated. So our head and heart are low, but we've got our legs elevated. So it's a kind of shavasana inversion, if that's possible. So the legs are elevated, but the weight on the belly is very, very calming. So I invite you just to have a few minutes here in this gentle inversion, feeling the weight of the belly, or the weight of the bolster on top of the belly, grounding the pelvis and the back body into the mat. If it feels too much, you can remove the bolster and go without, but I invite you to try it for a few breaths. Inhaling and exhaling, connecting to the breath, listening to the tambura, staying in the practice. Try not to fast forward to whatever you're doing beyond the practice, staying present, reaping the benefits of the restorative practice that Mr. Iyengar created, the props created to help us achieve the full expression of poses, and then to help restore people to health. Inhaling towards the heart and exhaling towards the crown. Slowly start to deepen your breathing. Very gently move the bolster off your belly, lay on the side, and very gently draw your knees into your chest and slip the belt off, and very gently give yourself a hug. Wrap your arms around the shins and have a really slow rock from side to side. Just feeling the pelvis pressing into the mat, just really slowly, as if you're in a big vat of a thick, gooey liquid. And then whichever side is easiest for you, watching out for your props, roll to that side. Again, looking at the ground, push yourself to upright. So from here, you can fold the blanket on your chair into a small square, either this height or, again, depends. I recommend you sit up on it because we're going to do a forward fold on the chair, or using the chair. And the wide blanket behind you, I recommend you fold that in half and place it under the backs of your knees. Your bolster, you're going to place on the edge of the chair seat, horizontal, and you are going to sit with your legs wide apart, and you're going to sit up on the edge of the blanket, just literally the buttocks on the edge of the blanket, because it helps the pelvis to tilt forward. I probably don't need it that thick. Just you decide the height of the blanket, but just sit on the folded edge. And the blanket behind the knees just offers a layer of comfort. And just before we fold forward on to rest our forehead on the bolster, grab your bricks and have one brick in each hand. And we're gently just going to move into a little twist. So as you sit on the ground with the legs wide, this is Upavista Konasana, wide angled pose. Just lift the buttocks out to the side so you can really feel that you're sitting, resting on the sit bones. Extend through the heel so you can feel the back of the knee opening, pressing into the blanket. And grab a brick in each hand, and just very gently have the right brick either one side of the right thigh, second brick just in between both thighs. And inhaling, lift the chest and just gently turn the chin and the chest and the belly to face your right leg, and just rest your palms on the brick. So the bricks are just kind of level with your thighs, and it's just nice to rest the palms on the bricks, soften the arms, and just gives us a gentle twist to change the direction of the spine as we've come from the back bend into the forward bends. So a couple breaths here, gazing at the big toe, and then you can close your eyes once your belly and ribs and chest have turned to face your right big toe. Just close your eyes and have a couple of rounds of inhaling to the heart and exhaling to the crown. Once again, inhaling to the heart and exhaling to the crown, just feeling a very gentle twist on the left hand side of the body. Keep extending through both heels. And very gently flutter the eyes open. Bring the bricks to center, so both palms are in front. Leave the right palm center. Move the left palm out to the left. Brick just either side of the left thigh. And then inhaling, exhaling, turn in the belly, ribs and chest to look towards the left leg. Looking towards the left toes. Keep rooting through that left heel. And feel that stretch now on the right hand side of the body. And just close the eyes. Same again on this side. Inhale towards the heart. And exhale towards the crown. And again, inhale towards the heart. Exhale towards the crown. Just feeling that twist on the right hand side. And you can just put the bricks to one side. And now turn to the center. Place your hands by your hips, roll the shoulders down the back. And then inhaling, start to bring your chest forward towards the bolster. Well, towards the ground, and your forehead is towards the bolster, and you're gently just going to rest your forehead on the bolster. Your neck should be long, so not crunch, so you might need to push the chair away so the neck is long. And then once your forehead's down, you just gently rest your elbows up on the bolster. Have your elbows quite wide, so you're creating space in the shoulder and not crunching the neck. Don't be here, because that's too much crunch in the neck. Open the elbows wide, which opens the shoulders wide, and you're rolling to the hairline of your forehead just to rest onto the bolster. If you can have the elbows wide and the palms just resting on top one another. But if that crunches into the shoulder, you can just separate the hands and just let them drape over the bolster. And here you are in your supported Upavista Konasana, which is a forward, wide-legged forward fold. I like to honor the tradition of yoga by giving you the Sanskrit name and then translating into English. And just connect to your breath, making that connection between you and your deeper self as you move through your restorative yoga practice. Noticing the breath slowing down. Moving further and further into relaxation mode. Letting go of protecting yourself, because you're safe here on the mat. Moving into parasympathetic nervous system. Breathing down into the back body, which should feel easier and free in this pose. few more breaths in your forward fold. Slowly start to deepen your breathing, and very gently just bring your head upright away from the bolster, and just remove the bolster from your chair. Just push the chair away from you and just sit for a moment upright. And then gently hold on to the backs of your knees and then draw your knees together. And you can put your chair away because we don't need that now. So get the chair safely out of your way. And then we'll prepare for our penultimate pose before your shavasana. So fold one blanket top of the mat around this shape, quite wide. Again, smooth edge towards you. And have your bolster on your right hand side, and the second blanket from this shape, you can just fold it in half and have that near you. We won't need it just yet. Have your feet down, knees up, roll your shoulders down the back and come to laying on your back. Bring your heels, so have the blanket just supporting head and neck. That's it. And have your heels in line with your buttocks, feet roughly hip width apart, and very gently just press your feet into the ground. Lift your hips slightly over to the left and place them down, and then cross your left leg over your right. Draw your knees into the chest and then bring both your crossed legs to rest on the bolster. So your both feet should just be fully supported by the bolster or resting into the side of the bolster. And trying to bring the feet, the right foot up so it's definitely on the bolster, not hanging off. And then use your elbows to turn your chest to face the ceiling. And you can, if you've got room, you can extend your left arm out. Just rest your hand on the top of your left knee. Lengthen your chin to your chest so you're in a gentle twist. Jatara Padavatasana, which is revolved abdominal twist. Many ways you can do this, but we're just doing a brief twist before our shavasana. And if you'd like to, you can turn your head to look towards the left and close your eyes. It's just feeling that gentle stretch down the left hand side of the body. And very gently inhaling, draw the knees back to center, uncross the legs, bring the hips back to neutral, draw your knees into your chest and roll the bolster under your legs, so it saves you lifting it up and over. Bring the bolster to the left, place your feet down, Root the feet into the mat. Lift the hips and move it gently over to the right. Place your hips down. Cross your right knee over your left. Draw both knees into the chest. Inhaling, and then on the exhale, bring the knees over to rest on the bolster. Again, make sure that your left heel is up and fully supported on the bolster, and your crossed knee is there. Extend your right arm out, left hand on the right knee, and turn the head to look at the right palm. I'm sorry guys, I don't know what happened. I didn't realise that I'd lost you. I was not looking at the camera. I do apologise. I'm so very sorry. I'm so very sorry. Please take a few minutes of shavasana. I'm so sorry, I don't know what happened. I can only apologise. I'm so sorry Alex, I didn't see. I don't know why it disconnected. Okay, so a few minutes in shavasana if you're back with me. I'm so sorry. For those of you that have stayed, you were in the twist. You should now literally just take your shavasana, put the bolster behind your knees, snuggle the blanket to shape your head. So you take each layer of blanket. So fill the nape of your neck, then take another layer and shape your head with the blanket till all the blanket is literally shaping your head. And just have a few minutes in shavasana. I will hopefully be allowed to go over a few minutes. I'm sure they'll let me. So I do apologise. I don't know what's happened. It's the first time I've disconnected like that. So take your shavasana. I can see a few of you coming back online, which is great. Apologies I disappeared, but please just take your shavasana now. Few minutes in shavasana. Just release your body to the earth. Couple of inhales through the nose, exhale through the mouth, and just surrender over to the earth in your shavasana. slowly start to deepen your breathing. If you would like to stay in shavasana, apologies again for the interruption, you can just shut the laptop screen or switch off now and just stay in your shavasana for a little longer. If you're ending the practice with me, very gently start to inhale, raise the arms overhead, circling the wrists and circling the ankles, and then gently changing direction. And then if you'd like to, you can lift your hips from the mat to give yourself an even fuller stretch. And then very gently draw your knees into your chest and wrap your arms around the shins and give yourself a really nice, slow, thick, gooey liquid hug once again, rocking from side to side, pressing the pelvis down into the mat. Couple of rocks gently side to side. And then very slowly, whichever side feels more available to you, watching out for your props, roll to that side and stay on that side for a couple of breaths. So lay completely on your side in the fetal position with your knees bent up towards your belly. And whichever arm is against the floor, extend that arm overhead and rest your ear on your arm. So you're making a pillar for your arm, pillar for your head rather, with your bottom arm. And just have a few breaths there, reflecting how you're feeling after your restorative practice. And very gently flutter your eyes open and gaze at the first thing that you see. And very gently, using your top arm as a lever, push yourself to upright, head coming up last. And come to sit in Sukhasana as we started before we reclined, sitting cross-legged, your palms up or down, whichever feels comfortable for you. Sit nice and tall, draw the shoulders back, spine tall, and just close your eyes as you enjoy the last few minutes of your practice, connecting to that breath. I'm going to share with you a part of a song from Mr. Iyengar's Light on Yoga. It's a celebration of when you reach the peak of your meditation called Samadhi. And it's quite a joyous occasion, and there is a song for the soul. Virtue and vice, or pleasure or pain, are not my heritage, nor sacred texts, nor offerings, nor prayer, no pilgrimage. I am neither food nor eating, nor yet the eater am I. Consciousness and joy incarnate, bless of the blissful am I. I have no misgiving of death, no chasms or race divide me. No parent ever called me child, no bond of birth ever tied me. I am neither disciple nor master, I have no kin, no friend. Consciousness and joy am I, and merging in bliss is my end. Neither knowable, knowledge, nor knower am I. Formless is my form. I dwell within the senses, but they are not my home. Ever serenely balanced, I am neither free nor bound. Consciousness and joy I am, and bliss is where I am found. Very gently inhaling, bringing your palms to heart center. Exhaling, bowing your head to your hands in gratitude for making time for your yoga practice today. Making that deeper connection to self, which is your yoga. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. Release the palms, open the eyes, raise the gaze. Jai. Praises, blessings. Thank you so much for joining. I really do apologise about the disconnection. I don't know what happened. I'll make sure I usually look at the camera more, but hey, apologies. I hope it didn't interfere with your practice too much. Please do leave us any comments or questions. I'll be here for another couple of minutes, and we do appreciate a thumbs up or thumbs down. Oh, thank you. I've had to. If you'd like to follow me on Instagram, my handle is Yvonne Henrietta Yoga. I will write that into the box now. I'm happy to take any questions that you have. The book I was reading from is Mr. Iyengar's Light on Yoga, the founding father of Restorative Yoga and Iyengar Yoga, which you've hopefully heard of. Have a great rest of evening if you're leaving now, and a great week ahead. Thank you, Aishka. I hope I've said your name wrong. Ms. Lopez. Very kind of you, thank you. So I'll hang on for a couple of minutes more, and then I will bid you farewell. My next class is Saturday morning, 10:45, and then this 5:30 class. And so if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see where else the rest of my teaching schedule. Okay, thank you so much for being here. Have a great rest of evening, great week ahead. I'm going to say farewell.